Okay, here we go. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Latrice Monet, and welcome back to my one woman show. Always feel like I have to enunciate that because it's like, anyway, doesn't matter. So, welcome back. And actually, I'm going to be quite honest with you. This is my second time recording this because the first time I did it, I didn't feel like, and I watched it back, I didn't feel like I had the energy, like my energy wasn't up. And I think just in general, like I'm chilling today. You know, it's been a pretty cool day, but I want to make sure that I am keeping it high, keeping the energy high. So here we go, round two. I wanted to start off by talking about, like, I had a little message before getting into what I wrote down to actually talk about for the video. And it started because I was gonna sit outside to record this. I was like, oh, it'll be really nice, you know, I had a breeze and, you know, be able to like hear a bird or two, you know what I'm saying? And then somebody started cutting their grass and I was like, that's not gonna work. I don't know what the sound quality is gonna be like. I don't know. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll come inside. And then I was like, okay, well, I need to set this up on a table. So then I had to get a few boxes. Now stay with me. There's a message here. I had to get some boxes and I had to set up the camera so that it was like at eye level. And then I see that my camcorder is about to die. And I was like, okay, I need to get a charge. I need to be able to charge it. I need an extension cord and all these things. And I was like, ugh. And so what came to my mind was, you know, how bad do you want this? How bad do you want to make this video? And the message in that translate, you know, you can, what is the word that they use in research? Extrapolate the concept to business or anything that you're trying to accomplish, which is, you know, how bad do you want it? And of course, you know, your intentions have to be good behind it. There has to be good energy behind it. But, you know, I had to figure out how bad I wanted to do this video. And I do want to maintain this consistency. It's something that I've been thinking about, talking about for a while. So, you know, I really want to make sure that I'm holding up the end of the bargain for myself. And so when it comes to business adventures, life progression, career progression or whatever, it's really about like, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to change locations from inside to outside, from a different city to a different state, country, whatever? Are you willing to set up the boxes so that you can be at the right level with the people that you need to be on the same level with? Are you willing to plug in to the charger, to the energy, to the I don't know, I guess the understanding, to the divine, to the universe, whoever you believe in? Are you willing to plug in, to tap in with that energy to get to where you want to go? So I thought that that was very timely, and I thought that it was, you know, really good for me to open with that, to share that with you all, because, you know, and it goes into one of the thoughts that I wrote down to talk about for today, which is, you know, taking different things that happen, events, situations, or whatever, and knowing that there is a message or a lesson behind them. Knowing that, okay, if it is noisy outside and I need to come inside, well, maybe I need to come inside for a reason. Maybe I need to be inside because I need to be closer to my water so that if I'm dehydrated or whatever, and Lord knows, not dehydrated, but if I need to quench my thirst, then I can. And I don't have to take everything outside because everything's already inside. You know, just different things like that, thinking outside of the box. And, you know, just because something doesn't happen one way doesn't mean it's not able to happen another way. Like, just being open to the possibilities of how something can work out, of how something can, you know, come to pass, come to fruition in this journey of life and business and all the other stuff. So that's that piece. And I showed my little note, and I didn't show my notes the last video that I did. And I will just tell y'all this, I'm a note person. Whether it's on my phone or if it's on a sticky note, and this is what I wrote for today, and it's a little ripped and it's fine. And if it's on a sticky note, if it's on a note card or whatever, writing things out for me is it's one way that I am able to process, and then also it keeps me on task. It keeps me from getting distracted, and it helps me remember things too, because I've learned that I'm a visual learner. I'm a very visual person, and not that I'm not working on my other senses in terms of becoming more well-rounded, but I'm very much visual, so I have to be able to see it in order to remember. It just helps in terms of me in processing and that type of thing. But anywho, I've digressed just a smidge. So I wanted to dive into the other two things that I have on my sticky note to talk to y'all about. And the second thing, because remember the first was about taking events and situations as messages and clues on our path, and allowing them to help us determine which way to go. So that's that piece. The second part was managing responsibilities while life is happening. And I'm not even gonna lie, like last week was very stressful for me in terms of staying on top of my to-do list while also navigating the feelings and stuff of like family situations that I have going on. And it was a matter of, okay, I have all these emotions, I have all this going on, and having things written down was helpful for me to be like, okay, I'm a little stressed or whatever, but this is what I have on my list. This is going to be 10-20 minutes, and then I'll be done, and I can go take a walk, I can get something to eat or whatever, but still making sure that I am putting effort into the things that I want to happen. And I think that sometimes, you know, life is just overwhelming in general sometimes. And I think being the type A person that I am, like, if life is going really hard, then that's like, oh, then I really need to, then I might be even more hard on myself trying to get something done, not realizing like, okay, again, something is happening to teach me something, and it can either break me or make me stronger. And while those things are happening, like, what else do I need to continue to do for myself that will continue to put me in a space that I want to be in? So, for example, this past week, feeling stressed and that type of thing, and I knew that I wanted to go do a float. And float therapy, I highly recommend it if y'all are interested in me talking more about my float experience, because it's essentially like a sensory deprivation scenario where like an hour is equivalent to like 4 to 6 hours of sleep, because your brain is able to get into a different wave pattern, alpha wave pattern actually, that helps to reset and restore cellular function, sleep, all that stuff. But anyway, so I knew that I wanted to go do that, but I also knew that I had other things to do. So I was able to look at my to-do list and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do prior to going to my float, or this is what I'm going to do after my float, because when it comes down to it, like, life is overwhelming, but I would honestly say, like, not moving towards my goals and my dreams and stuff like that, like, that's even more overwhelming, because I want to make sure that I'm acting on the vision that was given to me from God, from divine. And I've realized, like, in normal conversation, I talk about God a lot, and I talk about the universe and stuff like that. And I think one of the things here as well for me on my YouTube channel is going to be being more open to talking about that and sharing. I have been, I guess, nervous in a sense of like talking and mentioning God and that type of thing, because I think that people are like, oh, here she go, you know, whatever, just thinking about like what other people have to say about it. But you know, like my relationship with God is mine, and so it is what it is. Like how else? I truly believe that it is with God's help that I've been able to even venture out into being an entrepreneur. So that's that piece. And the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and actually my cousin called me and she brought it to my attention again, and she was like, you know, what came up for me in my meditation was you know, just for you to be patient. And I was like, you know what, that's actually in line, because it's come up for me too. And I think in a lot of different ways in my life I am impatient, and I mean, you know, that's fine. But you know, when it comes to things outside of myself that I, you know, dealing with other people or just other people or other things in general, like things outside of myself, like I have to be patient with the process. And I think it's difficult because when you know, we live in a society where technology and gadgets and phones, all this other stuff are so readily available that, you know, I've had scenarios where I'm clicking on a link, and if it doesn't pop up within like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, I'm wondering what's going on. Like I'm refreshing the page, like, but that's not, you know, I'm learning to realize that that's not the experience of life. Like it's not always going to be a 30-second, you know, result or whatever. And I mean, if it is, like, depending on the thing, you know, is that something that you want? Do you want it to come to you quickly, or do you want it to be divinely provided to you? Do you want it to be like where all of the kinks are worked out, all of the different little struggles are worked out, you know, like just giving it time. So yeah, I think I'm trying to think of the different things that I mentioned the first go around too, when it came to patience. And what I'm remembering is that nobody really knows what they're doing. But I will say, like, you know, with time passing and knowledge and all that stuff, you can learn more and it'll help you make better decisions and that type of thing. But second to second, minute, day to day, nobody knows everything. So it's so important to be patient with the information and with myself, with ourselves, in terms of getting to where we want to go. And again, taking those little pieces, those events as clues to, you know, helping us figure out what we should be doing. Because there have been times where I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do this, but then I start researching it, or I'm, you know, doing the thing that I wanted to do, and I'm like, nah, that's not really, I don't want to do that. And I would say an example for me was that, like, so when I started selling vintage clothing, I love the thrifting part of it. I love going into the thrift store. I love finding cool stuff, vintage, like just quality pieces, right? And I loved doing the selling. I loved meeting with customers in person, helping them pick something out, talking to them about just who they are, what they've been through. And I love that. So, but then on the other side, when it came to online sales, it wasn't, my website wasn't making the traction that I needed it to, like as if I was in person. So I was like, okay, well maybe I should try Poshmark. Watched a video on YouTube, I watched a few actually, about selling on Poshmark, all the different things that you have to do. And I was taking notes. I could show y'all the notes now, and it's just like, I don't want to do all that. And that's okay. I had to accept within myself, like, that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to spend my time and energy selling on Poshmark when there's other things that I would have to do. And granted, that works for some people. I just had to understand that it wasn't going to work for me, at least not now. And that kind of goes into what I was saying before. I think I mentioned in my other videos was, you know, having a team in place. Yeah, I still see myself selling vintage clothes, having the pop-up and stuff like that, but it's going to take, at least for me, to be in a position to where I can have more help in doing those things. So, and I also had to be patient with myself as I came to terms with myself, because I was still pushing myself thinking that, oh, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that. And it really was a matter of me tapping in, tuning in with myself to say, okay, what is it that I really want? What is it that God really has for me on this journey? Because, you know, stepping out, like I say, stepping out on faith, leaving a job that was what people consider to be secure, like as a pharmacist working for the federal government, like that was hard. You know what I mean? I don't think that, again, I wouldn't have gotten this far if I wasn't believing in a higher power. So anywho, I say all of that to say that, you know, life happens, it's overwhelming, but being patient, being consistent, which I'm working on in terms of these videos, especially following the clues, tuning into that knowledge, and managing responsibilities, I think will continue to be what helps me, and hopefully it helps you. So that's all that I have, and I hope that you all enjoyed it. Comment, like, subscribe. If there's anything that you would like to know more about, let me know. I'd be happy to share and go through it with y'all. And that's it. Okay, have a great day. Bye.